I'm here with Amy Hale on My Magical Thing. Amy, I know as an academic, an occultist, a folklorist, writer, researcher, educator. What else should we be adding to the list, Amy?
Oh goodness, I think that I think you covered more than I would have even thought of. I think that's great. Did a great job.
Whose biography are you working on at the moment?
I have completed, and it's going to be hot off the presses soon. I have done a biography of Ethel Colquhoun called "Genius of the Fern-Loved Gully," which will be out soon with Strange Attractor Press.
Oh, very nice. Very nice. I'm very much looking forward to that. And you've got your magical thing with you. Please, may we see your magical thing?
I would love to show you my magical thing, Julian. So this is my magical thing. This is my blue apple, which I found, I would say probably about 20 years ago now, at a garden center in Cornwall. And I used this. Really, it's kind of the focus of my magical home. It's kind of my magical center. And so if I'm feeling off, if I'm feeling a little too spread out, if my energy is going to too many places, and that's very easy for that sort of thing to happen, I look at this and I use this as a way of reminding myself about my own magical journey and my own magical core, and it brings me to center. And I can tell you a little bit about why a blue apple, if you're interested, because it's kind of a funny thing. So back in probably about 1991, I was taking a couple years off between college and graduate school, and with a degree in anthropology, that meant that I was very underemployed. So I spent a lot of time reading, as one does, the Illuminatus trilogy. So in one summer, I kind of hit the Illuminatus trilogy and Foucault's Pendulum and Holy Blood, Holy Grail. So you can kind of see where I was going with all of that. And for those who may remember or be Holy Blood, Holy Grail aficionados, there is a point there where they talk about the legend of Rennes-le-Château, and how Saunière in the 19th century, Bishop Saunière was fixing up the church, and he found this parchment with some coded messages in it that finished up with the phrase midday blue apple or noon blue apple, which I don't think has ever really been satisfactorily explained, but I loved it. I mean, when I heard those words together for the first time, noon blue apple, they sounded beautiful, and they also sounded so wonderfully nonsensical that I was kind of attracted to it right away. And I had always had a relationship with the color blue. It's been my very favorite color ever since I was a little girl. And I just kind of picked up on the phrase. I kind of used it online for a while, you know, as an early name as one does. And eventually, though, I came to really feel that there was something about the blue apple that, for me, represented a whole kind of wide mapping of interests that I had in my life and in my magical journey. So, of course, Holy Blood, Holy Grail is a work of, in many ways, fiction, but it's got all of these elements and these themes which have showed up again in my work and my research. So we see, you know, kind of religious nativism with the Magdalene and the Merovingian bloodline, and we see Celticism and esotericism and secret societies and Arthurian legend kind of all coming together in this one big fantastic jumble. And these are all things that have really informed my work over the past 20 years. But then, of course, the apple, you know, it's got Luciferian overtones to it, and it is the symbol of Aphrodite. And then when you cut it in half, of course, you get a pentagram in the middle. Yep. So it was something that for me has just kind of embodied all of these weird, interesting features that have come together. But blue apples are not really easy to come by. So I was at this garden center in Cornwall, and they had this gorgeous bin of these apples in all these different colors that, I mean, it's quite heavy, you know, it's a ceramic thing here. And they had white ones and red ones and green ones. And I was like, oh, I wonder if they have a blue one at the very end, at the bottom of the bin. There it was my blue apple. And so I treasure this, and I have it in a sacred space in my home. And it is something that I love very much. And that is my magical thing.
Amy, thank you so much for sharing the core of your world, the omphalos, the magical blue apple. That's amazing.
Oh, it's a pleasure to share it with you. I don't think that I've ever really talked about this with anybody. So it was a real joy to share this with you today.
Thank you. Thanks, Amy.
Thank you, Julian.
Brilliant. All right. See you soon. Bye-bye.
Thank you.